Let's remember who the hell we are. We're the United States of America. Let's remember who the hell we are. We're the United States of America. Let's remember who the hell we are. We're the United States of America.
That's right. He said that in front of the prayer brunch. That's why people thought it was funny, because he said, who the hell? When it's a prayer bunch. We're the United States of America. He has dementia. That's what people are saying. So, or do you think he's going to make it to the election? One way or the other, if he wins the election. So that's what Nikki Haley is proposing, is that he'll win against Trump and then won't be president anymore. What's up, Al Shizzle? What's up, G. Murray Rogers? I'll show you something else. Let me go live on Rockfin. Yesterday's show got deleted because I played the James O'Keefe clip, and I know those are sensitive because he's banned from YouTube, I believe, and doesn't post on YouTube himself. So I deleted it from YouTube. It's still available on Rockfin at rockfin.com/lifttheveil. It's still available on DLive, dlive.tv/lifttheveil. And it's available on the podcast, which you can do lifttheveil.substack.com to listen to the podcast, or you can go to iTunes and look for Lift the Veil. Lift the Veil, my pseudonym. So T. Murray says he's not banned from YouTube. I'm sorry. That was fake news. James O'Keefe is still allowed on there. Okay. I didn't know that. Yes. It's just every once in a while he'd post somebody that he caught on hidden camera, and YouTube didn't like that he caught him on hidden camera and thought it was like doxing or something. So, hey, Mimsy Schwinzy. Hey, Jedi. Let me show you this picture of Joe Biden. You got to tell me what it is. Not this. This picture. What the hell is this? Do you guys see this? What has he got right here? Like, what the hell is that? People are asking if it's like an outside diaper or a catheter or something. He's really out of it. I don't know if he's going to make it to the election. Press 1 if you think he'll make it to the election. Press 2 if you don't think he'll make it to the election. We'll do an easy poll to start out and just get you guys engaged. 1 if you think he will make it. 2 if you think he won't make it to the election. I won't even ask about whether he'll make it through another full term. So 222, one of my favorites. G. Murray, you think he will? I think it's safer to bet that he will. So now we're getting a couple of ones. Let's go. Let's go. Good one. Let's go. For the podcast, that's spelled Lesgo. The last name is Goh. Let's go. He could call himself Leslie Go, or he or she. Les is a name that goes both ways. Sort of like Gen Z. All does, apparently. So yeah, there he is. I don't know what that. I have no idea what that is. They made a big deal out of Trump's hands being red, which he says he doesn't even know what happened. It could have been AI. Dr. Rothel, PhD, says you have to be more specific. Him or his clone? Does he have a clone? Because the clone isn't doing a very good job if the clone is actually working. You're saying they have his clone ready? It's possible. It's possible. So Ray Finkel says he has the best healthcare. Yeah, so there's video. Well, there's on the laptop. His son Hunter, it says that he had dementia. That was in 2018, and now we're in 2024. Holy cow! Are we going to make it through this year? Glad you guys could join me. Somebody gave me a coffee yesterday after the show, so I'm going to read that off. You can support the show by buying coffees or buying t-shirts. Yesterday, my website had expired, but now it's working again. Thank God. I had to renew it for Truth Revolution clothing at truthclothing.io. So I'll show you the video of somebody talking about. Then the lead story is about the guys that got let go. So I'll show you that. I'll also show you regional bank stocks are crashing right now. We're headed towards another banking crisis, it looks like. So I'll show you that story. The guys that had sex in the Senate chamber will face no charges, which people are making jokes about as far as compared to January 6th. There's a PBS documentary that shows that January 6th, the January 6th committee was made for TV, literally, but where they actually hired TV executives to help them out with it and turn it into a mini series. So I'll show you that. That was from a PBS special that's making the rounds today. So, and then, yeah, these migrants who attacked the cops got released on no bail and are flicking off the cameras that are looking after them. And even Elon Musk says it's outrageous. So Prague says Obama does not want to run. She hates people. She likes the good life and has no interest, apparently. Yeah, they say that Michelle Obama, somebody talked to Michelle Obama and she said she doesn't want to run because she saw what happened, what they did to her husband. So you have to have something wrong with you to run for president, I feel like, or to even be involved in politics in the first place. And that's why you see so many people committing crimes. So they got Fannie Willis, who's prosecuting Donald Trump. Donald Trump's still under attack. They're trying to take him out any way they possibly can. But there's a new poll out today where Biden is ahead of Trump. But that's not the norm nationally, ahead by a bunch, by like 6 points. And Nikki Haley in a one-on-one matchup would beat him. So, however, when you add RFK to the mix, then apparently it's more even. So anyway, welcome everybody to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in yesterday and all this week. Glad to be able to bring you the show. And let's get started. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. Yes, that is what we're trying to deliver. All of the relevant news of the day. So here's this guy reading off from the computer that Hunter Biden left behind about Joe Biden having dementia. And it seems like like the way he holds his hands, for example. Here, I'll play that.
See, and here, getting back to the laptop, Kate, we have 2 messages from Hunter Biden in late 2018 showing that he knows his dad has dementia. He admits it in 2018. So it's now 4.5 years later, because he said these things in late 2018. He probably has rapidly advancing Lewy body dementia. And you can see that in his gait. When Joe walks, his arms don't move like a normal person's. And then when he's done speaking, which is a great mental task for him, he forgets where he's supposed to go once he's on the stage. See, and here, getting back to the laptop, Kate, we have.
So it's a pretty good impression. Yeah, dementia. So God, it is elder abuse having them go out there. So that's revealed from the laptop, from Hunter's laptop, which was not fake news. Thanks, John, in the chat says, show some love. Yeah, you can go to, I'll put up my banners and I will pin your tweet. buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Yeah, that's very kind. Thank you. We do love coffee. 1 coffee a day is good. Oh, and then I have iced tea too. Nice big container. Iced tea that you can make without boiling it. So Biden is actually ahead in the polls by 6 points, apparently, when it's just a head-to-head matchup with Trump. But apparently when you add RFK Jr. to the mix, then it gets closer. Fueled by female voters who don't like Trump. But yeah, I wonder, people are very confident that he's going to win. Trump 50-44 after the same poll in December had Trump ahead. But we've seen the polls. It doesn't matter what the popular vote is. So that's for the popular vote. Doesn't matter what the popular vote is because we have an electoral college. All that matters is what happens in 6 or 7 swing states. And I showed you the polls from yesterday that show Donald Trump winning in all of the swing states right now. So I'll show you. Trump leads though within the demographics. In a 5-person contest, he only leads by 2. And Kennedy Jr. gets 14%. So I'll play you clips of people who like Kennedy Jr. Among Hispanic voters, it's practically tied. And at 47% for Biden, 45. No. Trump actually is leading among Hispanic voters. As mental as that must make Democrats feel. And Trump has 16% support among black voters, which I think would be a record high for a Republican. So it's a big outlier, they say, this poll. And the same poll shows that Nikki Haley would win by 5 points. So that supports her argument. Nikki Haley is making the argument that he can't win against Trump. So this is exactly the kind of poll she points to reveal that. She says, oh, he would lose to Biden because he's a loser. And people shouldn't forget. Everybody thinks the election was stolen. I think everybody watches this show. But in case it wasn't, he isn't that great when he's on the ballot. I'm looking at those gummies in the ad. I'm thinking about having a gummy. So anyway, he leads among Hispanics and has 16% of the black vote. That's pretty good. Not looking good right now for not looking that good for Biden overall. And besides the mental decline part of things. So Dan Whiffen says 2022 was also a scam. Well, the abortion thing, whenever that's on the ballot, it seems like Democrats win. So hopefully that won't be on the ballot this time. If you want Trump to win. So here's Dr. Drew. I have a few clips about RFK Jr. Dr. Drew saying that he likes RFK Jr. because he's willing to stand up what he learned from listening to RFK Jr. And then I have somebody else giving him their support too. So I'll play that. This is from Dave Rubin.
How much did your political evolution shift because of the COVID craziness? Because when I had you on last time in studio, still in LA, so it's about over 2.5 years ago, you were still sort of saying some nice things about Fauci, and I know you guys have a history. I sense you've shifted a bit on that, or at least you're amenable to some other ideas.
I am open to everything now. I'm open to things that I never thought I would have been open to. And I really think that the door fully came open. I've realized that everything in the news is BS. Everything. There is nothing that I can consume on any legacy media that I can trust. And that is shocking and that's disturbing. And it makes you wonder how long it's been going on for. And I'm concerned it might have been a very long time.
Yeah. Was
When
there a straw that broke the camel's back on that
Yes,
specifically?
yes. I was going to tell you that my interview with my first interview with RFK Jr. He was so reasonable and so smart and so many interesting ideas and enlightened me to this cozy relationship between the regulators and the pharma companies, which I really wasn't aware of. I mean, I can't let a pharma company representative into my office to give me a pen with a drug name on it, and yet those guys are living together and cross-pollinating jobs. I mean, that's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
So, and that he had a very sensible, didn't necessarily fully agree with it, but a sensible idea about vaccine research that he would like to push forward. Not that vaccines are bad. His family's all vaccinated. My family's all vaccinated. And at the end of that interview, he said something to me. I've met him now many times since then. He goes, "Oh my good, Drew, you are so courageous to talk to me." And I thought, it blew me back in my chair. I thought, I need courage to have a conversation with an adult in a public setting. And he was right. This is a time where I didn't realize how much speech was being suppressed, how much was being manipulated, how much. Then what happened after that was the Twitter files, and I started seeing what's going on, and it's just been to me this is all reprehensible. And what has happened as a result, I don't think I've shifted my political views. I'm just really I never imagined I'd be in this point in my life at this age and place in my career. Freedom and freedom fighting and the courage to stand up for it have been the most important thing in my life right now. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I live in the United States of America and I have to worry about freedoms. I have to fight for freedom. That is an insanity. And I'm hoping it's something that will pass soon.
There you go. That's Dr. Drew, who people are saying Dr. Drew is cool. People grew up on. I remember Loveline. Loveline was great. Yeah, that was a great show on the radio back in the day. Yeah, you used to be able to tune into Dr. Drew. And then they actually they were on MTV for a while too, doing it in front of a live studio audience. But I remember you would learn a lot of things. They talked to people about addiction, trauma, abuse, etc. So Jedi says, makes you remember Howard Stern when he was on E. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Howard Stern, that's what I grew up on. It's too bad Howard Stern turned into such a goober. So there you go. That's Dr. Drew talking about how RFK Jr. changed his outlook. And this is Theo Vaughn and Tim Dillon talking about RFK Jr. just because he is polling at 14%, which is pretty high. But he says boomers don't like him.
I love them. They're a fun couple.
I just went to his 70th birthday.
They are amazing. She's amazing.
2 nights ago. She's so funny. The best thing about being around them is when she's around too, there's this whole level of like comedy that's around it all.
Yes. It's a fun sitcom where she's like a fun, bubbly, sunny person, and the CIA killed his whole family. and it's just like a fun. And it's like hilarity ensues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like looking for bombs in a car and she's playing tennis. It's a fun mix. They're an odd couple.
Come and knock on our door.
Come and knock on our door. This could be our last day. Because they've killed all of his dad, his uncle.
And people are like, why is this guy so skeptical about stuff? Are you out of your mind?
No, it's crazy. People are like, why doesn't he trust the government to inject us with the right chemicals? It's like they killed. It probably got so non-eventful that they would just open his door when he was a kid and go, they just killed someone else. And he'd go, whatever.
Yeah.
Did he even get upset? After the third or the fourth one, it was probably like, yeah, we get it. But he's, for all that, he's like a remarkably well-adjusted guy.
I agree. I feel like I really feel like he's the best choice.
Agreed. By the way, agreed.
Yeah. As a human being that's going to, whether he's right or wrong about something, I would rather that someone cares and gives a fuck about whatever's going on. The guy cares that they're could be injecting trash into people.
100%.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is like, what I like about him is that he doesn't care.
Right. He has nothing to lose. They've taken everything from him.
They've taken everything from him.
They
He's
took his
out
father.
there just going, this is my truth.
Right.
There would be a lot more money in it if he just went along with the rest of the thing.
Yeah. If he just reply to an email from Chuck Schumer.
Right. He could be like he'd have a lot easier time if he just went along with everybody else.
But that's what I think is so. Yeah, I agree. It's just that he's not beholding to anybody.
No,
He's not beholding to
he
anybody.
can
That's
do kind of what he wants.
Hey, there you go. So that's on RFK Jr. Yeah, who is still, oh, if I have to pick, probably he's my favorite out of the three choices that we have. I mean, it's obviously not going to be Biden. Trump, I was never really a fan of. So RFK Jr., yeah, he's not great on like Israel, but nobody is. Neither are the other two candidates. So I might vote for RFK Jr. and he polled at 14%. So let me get you to the story I led with. This is just video. You know, there was video of these guys assaulting police officers in New York City. They assaulted these NYPD officers. They were released without bail, apparently, and now are back on the street, and this is their reaction.
Just into Fox News now, NYPD
There,
making
they
two
clicked
more
off the
arrests,
cameras.
illegal immigrants, and that attack on officers. Those suspects also allegedly stole an officer's cell phone. Well, that'll help them track you down.
Yeah.
So a fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret. He was seen, as you can see, giving his two middle fingers to the cameras moments after being released without bail. Florida Senator Marco Rubio wrote, "Message to America from one of the illegal immigrants who assaulted NYPD officers, walked free with no bail, and heads back to a shelter funded by taxpayers." So far, police have shared 4 mugshots of the now 7 people arrested in connection with the brutal beatings in Times Square. Just into Fox News now, NYPD.
I don't know if it was all illegal immigrants or not. This was Elon Musk wrote about it. Outrageous, he said. So Elon Musk is on top of it. But yeah, released without bail. Considering the problems I had with when I got in trouble with the law, it does anger me that these people seem to get off okay. And they also have free room and board apparently. So what's going on in this country isn't really that great. So the way they treat regular actual Americans versus the way they treat migrants doesn't seem right. So I have there was a protest by the NYPD. So all of the NYPD officers, let me see, this is the protest. Yeah, going down near Times Square. So they were all going down with lights and sirens in protest of these, apparently. So there's the protest. Big line of cops. They say because the illegal immigrants were let out without bail. Speaking of crime, I could stay on that topic. So there you go. That's apparently what that was. Although I don't know what to believe on Twitter. Let me see if I can show you some more news about crime. Let's see. Oh, you guys have to see this thing about January 6th too. Actually, let's stay on the border. DeSantis, they call him DeSantis, is sending troops to the border to Texas. He's actually going to send troops to Texas. And I'm going to see what else I have here. Hochul, the governor, is suggesting deporting the migrants. So there's the mugshots there. So Hochul suggests deporting the mob of migrants who pounded on cops caught on camera near Times Square. So she's actually talking about deporting them. I think everybody would be happy with that result. Here is Ron DeSantis saying he's going to help Texas protect the border. I'll play that.
We have stepped up probably more.
And by the way, he sounds way better when he's just being the governor than he did when he was running. I think there's something about him running for president that wasn't that great. He seems way better now, more comfortable just being governor. Don't know if you guys noticed that too.
We have stepped up probably more than any other state has stepped up, and we're proud to do that. However, we don't think this is enough. I believe that a state has a right to fortify its own borders. And so if Texas is helping to erect barriers, putting up razor wire, doing other things to keep illegal aliens out, I want to be helpful with them doing that. I don't want to be part of the federal government trying to tear down these barriers and let more people in illegally. This is crazy that this is the case. So today, we are going to fortify our presence along the southern border. We're providing up to 1 battalion of Florida National Guard, as well as our first ever deployment of the Florida State Guard. And the goal is to help Texas fortify this border, help them strengthen the barricades, help them add barriers, help them add the wire that they need to so that we can stop this invasion once and for all. And the states have to band together.
There you go. There's Ron DeSantis saying he's going to send people there. Hey, Wonderful Creations. Wow, God bless you. Thank you very much. $50 super chat. I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you very much. Thanks, Wonderful Creations. You're really cool. Really appreciate your support. Any amount is great. $50 is amazing. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I would say we'll try to make this my regular job, but I think that's a tough hill to climb, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. Thanks very much. I have migrants being hidden in an airport at the Atlanta airport. Here's video. I haven't even watched this video yet, so I'll play it. So there's a room.
What do you want to do? Put in the word? I just want to get a documentation of I need like ice or something. Senator from here in the state of Georgia. Senator Baltimore representing Northwest Georgia. They have like government, like some kind of agency that works. I got you in there. Okay.
So you can kind of hear it.
Appreciate you.
It's a state senator.
I think he's one. How's it going, man? Yeah. You guys documented or? Yeah. Yeah. Transporting anybody anywhere? Yeah, we're all getting them placed to where they need to be. Okay, where they need to be? All over the place. Where are they coming from? As in, like, country of origin, stuff like that? Yeah. Also all over the place. All over the place? Yeah. You know when they come into the U.S.? Why, can I ask you why you asking these questions? Yeah. The senator from Northwest Georgia. Yeah. And not a big fan of human trafficking. Just want to make sure everything's above board here. Yeah, so these are just recently documented travelers getting released from ICE, getting to where they need to be. Okay.
A whole room full of them. This is happening at airports around the country.
So your airport, a company of volunteers.
Yeah.
Team Liberty.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a non-government organization? What is that?
Yeah.
So you receive. How'd you get the job?
I'm a volunteer. I mean, there's people that they get dropped off here from ICE detention with no help, so we just,
All right. Yeah. Sounds good, man. Care if we good? Yeah. Care if I come in? Just take a little closer look.
I mean, you can stand right there. I don't know you very well either. So
yeah, just let me get a video if you don't.
Actually, you cannot get a video. No. You cannot get a video.
There you go.
No, you're not allowed.
You're not allowed. You're done.
Okay.
There you go. So that was the video of him finding that secret room full of migrants. So that's happened there. Man, I mean, it's a crazy situation all over the country. Migrants are being housed different places. So anyway, let me check my coffees since we're about halfway through the show, and then I'll check them later too. I did get a coffee. I want to make sure to thank. It was Gene and Hopi Cobwebs. Great. Thanks, Gene. Gene says, first place I come for my American news. Hope you can keep going. Well, I hope so too. Although I am looking for full-time employment. So we'll see. Hopi Cobweb says, I wish I could afford to give you 100 coffees. I appreciate you, Nathan. Good luck to your dog. And thanks for doing your podcast. Yeah, Sumi already seems better. She's on antibiotics. And we ran the tests on her and stuff, and her tests came back okay. So Sumi is doing well, right, Sumi? Oh, you're not even here. She was here when the show started. She is doing better. Yeah, nothing else is coming out of her right now. So that's good news. Thanks for those coffees, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, if you want to donate without YouTube taking 30%, become a member or buy a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. All right. And then, oh my God, Be More Busker. Thank you, man. This is a big show. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate it. Don't want to dwell on it too long, but I really appreciate it. All right. Bank failures. You want to hear about that? Regional bank stocks are crashing. Bitcoin was up again today, or it was up today as opposed to yesterday. There's Sumi. Hey, Sumi, did you hear your name? Do you want to come and say hi to the people? If you get closer, I will pick you up. So this is some charts of community banks that are going to have a commercial real estate crisis. So there's, let me see, what bank is that? That is Azora Bank Ltd. That's the chart for that. New York Community Bank Corp down. Western Alliance Bank Corp way down. Shares of Zions Bancorp, Comerica, and Webster Financial also tumbling, along with Citizens Financial, Regions Financial, South State, Prosperity Bank shares, Schwab, PacWest, and Huntington Bank shares. There's charts there for you. The Fed is going to pull their emergency funding in March, and now banks are crashing. So we're looking like for another banking crisis, just like last year. So gold is up. Bitcoin's up today. As a reminder, billionaire Barry Sternlicht warned yesterday that he sees more than $1 trillion of losses for office real estate, calling the properties one asset class that never recovered from the pandemic. He says the office market has an existential crisis right now, which is largely a U.S. phenomenon because workers haven't gone back to work. And they're all working from home. Once a $3 trillion asset class, offices now are probably worth $1.8 trillion. So that's $1.2 trillion loss on commercial real estate. So that's what's going on with the banks. I can check into, let's see, you guys want to check in on Bitcoin? It's up. Let's see. Show you the chart. It's up around 43,000 right now. So kind of going sideways. But up. Yesterday was down, so today is up. That's better. Recovering from Fed Chair Powell's speech from yesterday. Thanks, Be More Busker. Appreciate you, man. This is Ted Cruz talking to Zuckerberg yesterday about how pedophiles can use the network to search, sometimes using code words like pizza. So I haven't even seen this one yet. So let me play it.
In June of 2023, the Wall Street Journal reported that Instagram's recommendation systems were actively connecting pedophiles to accounts that were advertising the sale of child sexual abuse material. In many cases, those accounts appeared to be run by underage children themselves, often using code words and emojis to advertise illicit material. In other cases, the accounts included indicia that the victim was being sex trafficked. Now, I know that Instagram has a team that works to prevent the abuse and exploitation of children online. But what was particularly concerning about the Wall Street Journal expose was the degree to which Instagram's own algorithm was promoting the discoverability of victims for pedophiles seeking child abuse material. In other words, this material wasn't just living on the dark corners of Instagram. Instagram was helping pedophiles find it by promoting graphic hashtags, including hashtag pedwhore and hashtag preteen sex to potential buyers. Instagram also displayed the following warning screen to individuals who were searching for child abuse material. These results may contain images of child sexual abuse. And then you gave users two choices: get resources or see results anyway. Mr. Zuckerberg, what the hell were you thinking?
All right, Senator. The basic science behind that is that when people are searching for something that is problematic, it's often helpful to, rather than just blocking it, to help direct them towards something that that could be helpful for getting them to get help.
In what, I understand get resources. In what sane universe is there a link for see results anyway?
Well, because we might be wrong. We try to trigger this warning, or we tried to, when we think that there's any chance that the results.
Okay, you might be wrong. Let me ask you, how many times was this warning screen displayed?
I don't know, but the
hey, you don't know. Why don't you know?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. But
you know what, Mr. Zuckerberg? It's interesting you say you don't know it off the top of your head, because I asked it in June of 2023 in an oversight letter, and your company refused to answer. Will you commit right now to within 5 days answering this question for this committee?
We'll follow up on that.
Is that a yes? Not a will follow up. I know how lawyers write statements saying we're not going to answer. Will you tell us how many times this warning screen was displayed? Yes or no?
Senator, I'll personally look into it. I'm not sure if we have.
Okay, so you're refusing to answer that. Let me ask you this. How many times did an Instagram user who got this warning that you're seeing images of child sexual abuse, how many times did that user click on see results anyway? I want to see that.
Senator, I'm not sure if we stored that, but I'll personally look into this and we'll follow up after.
And what?
There you go. Yep. So that's part of the roasting from yesterday of Mark Zuckerberg. Some people say Mark is looking good. He does get exercise. And he does that jujitsu and stuff. And he grew his hair out. He does look better than he used to. That's true. Okay. So that's from the hearing yesterday where they roasted TikTok and they roasted Facebook, Meta, for their dangerous material and how it harms children. So that's it. Check this out. January 6th, there's a PBS documentary about the January 6th committee, where they actually show that they hired TV production people. They brought in the former president of ABC News to actually run the show. So you can see it was basically, it was a show, right? They did it for the maximum impact and they ran them during prime time and stuff. So let me show you that. Here's the video from PBS News.
Thompson's committee had gathered a trove of information. The challenge, what to do with it.
The one thing that we knew was the information that we have is compelling. The thing we needed to do was tell that to the American people in a compelling way. So that's why we brought in a former president of ABC News.
Yeah, I got a call pretty much out of the blue from the January 6th
show, right?
committee. They wanted a storyteller. And while they were brilliant lawyers, storytelling for a mass audience is not what they do.
To bring in a guy like this who would think outside the box really did prove to be fruitful. And it was Goldston who really began to envision this as, in a way, a kind of mini-series, that there would be, sort of 9 episodes, and that these episodes would tackle particular themes.
Attack on the Capitol, the investigation.
The first hearing was primetime television.
As the nation is about to witness a defining moment, the first hearing before the country, the results of the January 6th investigation.
This is an extraordinary moment in American history.
When it came to that first hearing, we knew how high the stakes were.
Is about to hold its first primetime hearing.
We were either going to make people realize that this is important, or once you've lost them, you've lost them for good.
On the evening of June 9th, 8:01 p.m., the doors opened. My heart was beating pretty fast on June 9th. And it was a real question of, is this going to work or not?
All right, everybody, here we go. 5 on the line, please.
I'm in this tiny control room right up the stairs from Cannon Caucus. And we count down to the start of the hearing. And at that point, what can you do?
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
The Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol will be in order. Without objection.
We wanted to make sure that this was a presentation that would grab the audience and hold on to them. Chairman Thompson loved to say, it's got to pop.
There you go. It's got to pop. See, it's all for show. That was the January 6th committee hearings, which I don't know if it did much. Well, it probably did for Democrats. Made them say it was an insurrection and so forth. It is crazy the way they report on it on the news. Like NPR, they just refer to it as an insurrection, even though it doesn't seem to have the characteristics fully of a full, real insurrection. It was a riot, but that's about it. So anyway, that's that news. That was big news. That PBS documentary shows how it was all theatrical production. So check the breaking news. The people having gay sex, they said no evidence of crime committed. This is what the U.S. Capitol Police says regarding the backdoor action in the Senate chamber. They say, for now, we are closing the investigation into the facts and circumstances surrounding a sex video that was recorded inside the Hart Senate office building on the morning of Wednesday, December 13th. After consulting with federal and local prosecutors, as well as doing a comprehensive investigation and review of possible charges, it was determined that, despite a likely violation of congressional policy, there is currently no evidence that a crime was committed. Although the hearing room was not open to the public at the time, the congressional staffer involved had access to the room. The two people of interest were not cooperative, nor were the elements of any of the possible crimes met. The congressional staffer, who has since resigned from his job, exercised his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and refused to talk to us. Our investigators are willing to review new evidence should it come to light. So some people were saying that the January 6ers should have just had gay sex. Instead, they got effed by Ray Epps outside. So that was a joke. So that's what I heard. Those were the jokes I heard in my Discord, is that they got effed by Ray Epps instead, being outside the Capitol. So boom. All right, I have some international news. Thanks for hanging with me. Store shelves are empty in France. The farmers are protesting. Here's what the store shelves look like in France right now. I haven't covered this much. No stock. No stock, no merchandise. Because the farmers are protesting, not delivering food to the shelves. So there's empty shelves, empty shelves, empty shelves. Glad that's not happening here. Shows you got to keep stocked up on things and prepared for emergencies where food runs out. They're empty shelves, empty freezers. Sacre bleu. So there you go. That's going on in France. Besides that, we're going to strike the Houthis, or we're going to strike Iraq, apparently. Houthis are threatening an internet blackout for the Middle East. They say they'll cut an undersea cable, possibly. They said that we need to stop American and British airstrikes or face a severed Red Sea internet cable. So Houthi forces are threatening to sever an underground cable right now. This is Secretary Lloyd Austin speaking on what we're going to do. And I think they say we're going to strike targets in Iraq, maybe some Iranian targets too.
The president will not tolerate attacks on American troops, and neither will I. Our teammates were killed by radical militias backed by Iran and operating inside Syria and Iraq. In the aftermath of the vile Hamas terrorist assault on Israel on October 7th, terrorist groups backed by Iran and funded by Iran have tried to create even more turmoil, including the Houthis attacking commercial shipping in the Red Sea. So this is a dangerous moment in the Middle East. We will continue to work to avoid a wider conflict in the region, but we will take all necessary actions to defend the United States, our interests, and our people. And we will respond when we choose, where we choose, and how we choose. Now, that's what everyone here is focused on.
There you go. So we're going to respond how we want. Zero Hedge is reporting. U.S. plans have been approved. CBS News apparently is reporting. U.S. plans have been approved for multi-day strikes in Iraq and Syria against multiple targets, including Iranian personnel and facilities. So we apparently are going to strike Iranian personnel, possibly. That's coming any moment. Could happen tonight. I know I've been seeing the same person cover it every night, just waiting for something to happen. So could happen tonight. We could get started tonight. They say it would be a multi-day operation. So we are headed towards, that's us inching steadily towards war. I have Gavin Newsome talking about being in a store and watching somebody carry out merchandise, and then the cashier says that it's because of the governor that they're doing it, and he gets mad about that. So this is him saying he was in a store where somebody walks out.
Says, "Sir, you dropped this," and he comes back, picks it up, and keeps walking out. As we're checking out, the woman says, "Oh, he's just walking out. He didn't pay for that." I said, "Well, why are you stopping?" She goes, "Oh, the governor." Swear to God, true story. On my mom's grave. The governor lowered the threshold. There's no accountability. I said, "That's just not true." And I said, "We have the 10th toughest, $950, the 10th toughest in America." She doesn't even know what I was talking about. By the way, it's the 10th toughest in America. Look it up. No one gives a damn about that. And I said, "It's just not true. There's still stop." They said, "Well, we don't stop them because of the governor." And then she looks at me twice, and then she freaks out. She calls everyone over, wants to take photos. I'm like, "No, I'm not taking a photo. We're having a conversation. Where's your manager? How are you blaming the governor?" And it was, $380.
Yes, for the manager. That's what Karens do.
I'm not spending $380. Everyone can walk the hell right out.
So there you go.
Not fair. Not fair. Yeah. It's my target. She triggered me. Sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. I know that Mayor Gloria and Mayor Breed are.
So there you go. I don't know what the rest of that video shows. There he goes. He was in a store when somebody just walks right out. I know that people are doing that. I don't know if it happens too much near me, but it certainly gives you pause. You're like, if everybody else is walking out with free stuff, why am I paying for stuff? So anyway, that's Gavin Newsome there. Oh, here's some more stuff going on in Illinois. They want to ban people. There's a bill that's going to stop the police from pulling people over for speeding, broken tail headlights, illegal tint. Let me play that. Oops. Sorry, you're not hearing it. I don't have it on the right page yet. So here it is. Yeah, here it is. This is a bill that's going to stop police from actually stopping people because of racial bias.
The bill would heavily cut back on what police could pull drivers over for. If passed, this bill would not allow police to pull people over for expired registration stickers, broken headlights or taillights, failure to wear a seatbelt, certain speeding violations, and broken mirrors or excessive tints on windows. Other county sheriffs also expressed concern about the bill because of how it can affect police's ability to intervene before fatal accidents.
There are certain
vehicle code things that are contributors to accidents, are contributors to reckless behavior. Speeding, improper lane usage are two of those things.
The bill's sponsor, Representative Justin Slaughter, says the bill was meant to start a conversation to see if the state could reduce the number of offenses you can be pulled over for. The lawmakers behind these kinds of pushes are concerned these traffic stops are being used as a reason to stop and search cars for other evidence of more serious crimes. In a statement, Slaughter said, quote, "For decades, Illinois has wrestled with the challenge of racial bias in traffic stops and the disparate outcomes that are too often the result."
There you go. So, and he said, at no point in this effort has anyone's goal been to take away the tools police need to keep communities safe. Yeah, if your tint's too dark, if your mirrors are broken, then it's hard to avoid things. So you can't see clearly out of your car. So that's what they're talking about. I don't think that bill is going to pass. Transgender mass shooter, or who planned mass school and church shootings and wrote a manifesto, was sentenced to 6 years for doing that. So trans people. Oh, and here's this is happening in El Paso. Now when they arrest somebody, they have to ask their pronouns.
You ask that when we encounter an individual, that we ask what their preferred name, gender identity, and pronoun would be when we address them, and to refer to those individuals that request to be called a specific name, that we use that in our conversations with them. You
There
ask
you go.
that.
B. Mar Busker says 6 years. You think they should have gotten more? Well, they didn't actually shoot anything up. And I don't know which gender was assigned to this person at birth. Actually, by looking at the face, I guess it was a guy. Hard to tell. It was a guy, now a girl. So trans people, unsurprisingly, test really high for mental disorders, personality disorders. 81% have at least one personality disorder. 57% have narcissistic personality disorder. Then next is obsessive compulsive. Many are masochistic, sadistic, 28%. Paranoid, 28%. Antisocial, 20%. Let me see if I got that right. I'm reading the percentages wrong. 57% narcissistic, 38% obsessive compulsive, 34% masochistic. So it's actually 34%, higher than what I said. Paranoid, antisocial, histrionic, schizoid, schizotypal. That's what I am. Borderline is kind of down on the list. It's 14%. Personality disorder total, 81.4% have some kind of personality disorder. Apparently, that's what the research shows. So I know you're not supposed to say that being transgender is a mental illness, but all right. I have a few more news items for you about the economy, and then we'll wrap up the show for the day. Thank you for tuning in. No, we still have some show left. More Americans are trapped in credit card debt spiral, and fewer are able to pay their bills in full at the end of the month, per CNBC. 5 countries are about to join BRICS. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE have confirmed they're joining BRICS. So that makes BRICS bigger and makes the dollar weaker. 36% of Americans say they have amassed more credit card debt than emergency savings, an all-time high per bank rate. And then I have the story about this tax relief for families, which is actually going to go toward illegal immigrants and corporate tax cuts. I'll play that video for you. Let me show you that. Okay, I'll play this video for you. This is this guy I play.
The sociopaths in Congress are currently trying to sneak in a bill that combines welfare benefits for illegals crossing the border with crony corporate tax cuts to sweeten the deal. Republicans are trying to slip this Trojan horse past their voters by calling it tax relief, in case you thought there was actually a good party in Washington. My colleagues Richard Stern and Preston Brashers have been on the top of this little gem that would cost us $155 billion per year if it passes. So what is the bill and what does it do? Called the Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act, it's very Orwellian. The bipartisan bill, meaning the uniparty bill, gives millions of illegal immigrants welfare benefits. Of course, also for the millions more who are currently on their way. You would think such a bill would have zero chance of passing Congress, that Republicans would stop it. And enter the lobbyists, because the rest of the bill is a laundry list of lobbyists-approved tax breaks like retroactive depreciation and a nudge in Section 163 business amortization. I know, gripping stuff, but it pays the bills. It's even got a bizarre break slashing royalties tax on residents of Taiwan from 30% to 10% in case you wonder why lobbyists make the big bucks. So welcome to America's new ruling coalition. Illegal immigrants and corporate lobbyists. Two parties united. Of course, the bill authors are aware that Washington is currently running a $2.7 trillion deficit that will bankrupt our country, with Congress's own bean counters projecting $145 trillion with a T of national debt by 2053. So to cover the fact that this bill is adding to that to the tune of potentially trillions, they resort to Washington-level accounting fraud. Namely, they cancel a failed COVID-era employee retention credit that has paid out $230 billion, much of it fraudulent. Instead of simply winding down the program and admitting that they effed up, they label the long overdue wind down as $78 billion in savings and hand that to illegals and lobbyists. It's worth noting that those $78 billion in savings are more than that program was supposed to cost in the first place, so they promised a handout. They actually handed out $200 billion more than promised, and then they stopped handing it out and called that an extra $78 billion left over for their clients. Welcome to Washington. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. We actually stand a good chance of killing this particular bill after a bunch of us on Twitter and at Heritage raised the alarm. But they will be back because the uniparty ripoff is in full blossom, even as the people reject both parties at historic rates. One party goes insane, throwing voters to the other party, who takes their vote and rips them off. Has it end with anti-establishment candidates who gut the cronies running both major parties? We're currently going into primary season, and this is your chance to give your donations, your volunteer time, and your vote to those anti-establishment candidates of either party who actually want to serve the people. After all, these criminals were voted in by the people in the first place, however gaslit they were, we have the power to vote them out. Okay,
there you go.
We'll be watching.
There you go.
See you next time.
So that's the new tax cut bill. And yeah, you can go check out this guy's thing. I always play him on my show. So far, I haven't gotten in trouble for it. So there you go, guys. That's the show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks, Be More Busker. I saw you gave me a coffee too. You didn't leave a note with it, so that's fine. Thanks, Be More Busker, and thanks, Gene and Hopi Cobwebs, for going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil for supporting the show. Yeah, if we could make this my full-time job, then we don't have to quit. But I know that's a big ask for you guys. But if you appreciate the show, I appreciate your support. Thanks for the super chats. Those came from Wonderful Creations and Be More Busker. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. And check out our store. I got my website back up. Had to pay to re-register my site. Check out our clothes, truthclothing.io. You can get your propaganda shirts, your decentralized shirt, your Question Everything shirt, the original Truth Matters t-shirt, all the Bitcoin saves, all here at truthclothing.io. That's Truth Revolution Clothing. All right, guys. And thank you so much for your support. And I will see you probably next week going to lunch with Dad tomorrow. So if all goes well. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.